scam alert. I know we have a lot of new people in this hobby, and maybe some of you that have been around for a while that don't know about some of these common scam, scummy things that happen in the hobby. Unfortunately, we wish everybody would be good in the hobby, but there is some bad seeds when there's money involved and there's a way to make a quick buck. A lot of people take Easy Street and scam others, so we wanted to make you guys aware of some of these big scams. I'm going to basically go over all of these big scams, and then we're going to have a discussion on, what to look out for. So the first one is retail scams. There's a lot of different retail scams. Now, when I'm talking about retail, it's the retail SKUs, the blasters that you can find in Walmart, on Walmart.com, Target, mega boxes and stuff like that. There's a lot of people that have bots that tend to gobble all these boxes up. In this specific instance, Absolute Football has been shown to weigh more if it has a kaboom. So somebody that can buy 100 boxes at a time, or even walk into a Target, weigh it out, and then make sure they take the big hit and then sell it to you, you're not going to get anything. So if you're not buying from a reputable person, you're buying from somebody on eBay, you're buying from somebody on the street, figure that most of those or a lot of those are going to be either repacked or weighed out so that you're not going to get a big hit and you've decreased your odds. I mean, your odds are very low with retail anyway, so you're going to overpay 2 times, 3 times the amount that you're going to pay from Target and Walmart for some secondary stuff, and you're going to be bummed out because you got scammed. So buy from reputable dealers, save your money, maybe buy hobby products, or try to get it yourself without having to pay that second, third, fourth price. Because also, we get rid of these flippers, then the market kind of settles and you don't have to pay 3 times the amount on Absolute that's been weighed where you cannot get a kaboom. Another thing, beware of fake cards. These 3 cards, me and Dan actually bought them. We bought them from a guy that we thought was trustworthy. He had a big lot of cards that he sold. It was like 10 to 15 cards. These 3 were in there, got sent to us. And I was starting to price things out. And I thought it was really weird that a Johnny Unitas card, there had been 70 of them that had sold within that week. So I said, there's no way that a card from whatever it was, 1996, that 70 of them sold that week. So then I looked at the Kobe Bryant, 70 of them had sold that month. And this is all through eBay. And we're talking about $400, $500, $600, $700 on these. And then the Willie Mays. So these are 3 very, very common reprinted and then signed, either the person's practicing the autograph, just because the technology on these cards at that time weren't great. So they're easy to reprint, easy to fake the autograph. These guys are practicing their penmanship over and over again, putting it on the card. And you can see here in this Kobe Bryant slide that we have that there's 2 different types of autos. I mean, if Kobe sat down back in 2001 and signed these cards, he wouldn't have signed different ones. They'd all be the same autograph. So that's a for sure a telltale sign. Now, there is real versions out there. So I would try to buy the PSAs, the BGSs, and not buy raw cards. And just look at, if there's a lot sold on eBay and it's an old card, you got to question that they're obviously possibly fakes, and look at the person you're buying from. So
yeah, back in the day, they didn't have, these aren't numbered.
Right.
So there's a lot of them. And you go back to the Unitas and the Maze, it looks like just an in-person auto, right? There's no certified autograph anywhere on it. There's no shaded area where the autograph would go.
There is on the Willie Mays, but they reprinted that one that way.
Yeah. But the Johnny Unitas for sure doesn't have the shaded area where the autograph would go. So that is also and the thing is, look at those specific cards on eBay. It's a telltale sign when there's hundreds of them available for purchase.
Also, I should note, because you just were like, we bought these for 4, 5, 6. Because there are going to be guys that are like, of course you got scammed. How you think you got a real Kobe auto for $400? We're talking about, this was a 2017.
No.
Yeah. So this was
before the market.
And it was what it was, and the guy claims, and I talked to him afterwards, and he offered me a refund. But he claimed he didn't know, and maybe he wasn't. Maybe it had passed through his hands. But he sold us a lot of 12 to 15 cards where there was definitely some real cards in there, because there was a BGS 9 Luka Doncic Absolute Auto I'd bought. So that one I knew was real. So I didn't question that there was Kobe, and I was like, whatever, that's a pretty good deal. It was normally I think the deal was $2,100, and it was $3,000 worth of cards. So that's a pretty good deal. I'll definitely take it. We could use it for buybacks. So then I put it in a shoebox, and when I started to price things out for a buyback, that's when I noticed. I was like, crap, why are there so many of these Kobe's on eBay that sold recently? There's no way that there's 100, So that's to do your research there. If something's selling a lot, that means, because if somebody's printing these, they're printing thousands of them. They're not just printing 10 of them.
Yeah,
they're printing thousands of them.
And those Kobe's at that point were like $150, $200.
Right.
That Johnny Unitas was like a $75 to $100
right.
card.
So it's under the radar.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's not like somebody's fake, and people do fake the 86, 87 Jordan, but that's like go big, right? Then you can really get caught.
Or the 03, 04 SP Authentic rookie auto of LeBron.
That's another common one that people are doing. And then with Upper Deck, sometimes you can kind of see the hologram on the back. If it looks a little off, it probably means it's fake. So that's a one really telltale sign, because no one's been able to perfect that hologram that Upper Deck's had since day one. But I wanted to move on, and I got these bozos on here, and I know we've talked about them before, and I'm just using them for the purpose of being scammed by group breakers. For one, obviously, do your due diligence, see if they have a store. You feel a little bit more comfortable if they have a lot more skin in the game, if they have a store, if they've been established for years. But what I see going on Whatnot and Loop is these guys that are doing, because these live commerce platforms, which is definitely the way of the future, but the live commerce platforms take the thinking out of buying, because you can click and buy and you own it. So what some of these breakers are doing is they're doing their own repacks, and then they're auctioning them, right? So they basically have and this is how I picture it. And I'm not saying there isn't guys doing this on the up and up, but there is a very easy way to make sure that you're profitable on every auction. So you start the auction, it goes for $100, and you grab a box that you had a $60 card in from your table, and you're like, here's your box, and it looks like it's a repack, and you're like, cool, here you go, and you got $60. So the guy just made $40. So then he does another one, and he's like, if it gets to 500, I'll throw in 2 boxes. It gets to 500, and people click and they buy it. And then he grabs 2 boxes out, and it's like $300 in cards. So it's like kind of just a sham, because it's built-in profit for the guy. There's no numbered boxes. They're not randoming which box they're doing. They're basically grabbing a box, and they know in their mind what card's in there because they packed them themselves. And it's exciting for the customer, and the customer probably doesn't think twice about getting a card that's worth less than they spent. But literally, there's probably never going to be a card that was more until the breaker hits his, his
value. I don't know how they do it, but it wouldn't be that difficult to, like you're saying, you have boxes even rowed up where you're like, cards between $75 and $100 are in this row. Cards that are 150 to 250 are in this row.
Right.
And I mean, it really wouldn't be that difficult. That's why you can't do the live auction repacks.
Right. You can't.
Everybody has, in order to do it the correct way, everybody has to pay the same amount.
Correct. Or, you could do that if you're then in turn doing a random and you have all the See, that's the thing. And we're going to get into another scam with buybacks coming up here at the end of the show, at the end of the segment here. Is if you have things numbered and you're randoming them, then that's transparent. All boxes are made up front. You maybe show what the big card is, and you have them all in there, and they're all made. These guys are basically making boxes as they go live. So they're like, I think I'm going to sell 10 today. I'm going to make 10 boxes. And they know what's in them. Who's to even say that they get to the one card where it's like, okay, I got that Kevin Durant there is like the big hit, right? And it's a $5,000 card, and I've teased that, right? I've said, hey, there's going to be a Kevin Durant, and then they make sure it comes out the last box. But in the meantime, they're telling their buddy just to bid it up, right? So that their buddy buys it, and then now they're not even out the chase card. So there's a lot of shenanigans that can happen with buybacks and live commerce. So I would definitely stay away from that. A lot of this stuff's going on.
The live commerce, I love the idea. It's kind of the Wild West right now.
Yes.
There is very little regulations, but once it's around, it'll start to police itself.
Yep. And I think it's a lot of these newer guys, because, the guys that have been around for a while are breaking with us, breaking with Leighton. They're comfortable there. But these new guys, they're going to Whatnot and Loop. So it's like the perfect storm of a guy that doesn't even know what he's buying, But he shows there's 150 people chatting and they're bidding and there's action and there's something
And
going
at
on.
that point, to be on one of those platforms, all you need is a little bit of inventory and a cell phone.
Correct. So you have no skin in the game. So there should be a little bit more requirements on their end, because honestly, I mean, these live commerce platforms, I think Loop polices things more than Whatnot, as far as I could tell. But, I mean, one big scandal, they could be shut down.
Done, son.
Done, son. I want to also do this. So the next buyer beware is off-brand grading companies. They're all popping up every day. And there's new ones. I was looking for the one that was like cut like a diamond. It was a diamond graded card. Terrible. Black Mamba grading. Why? First graded. Why?
Whoa.
The ones you need to stick with are BGS, PSA, and maybe SGC as a third option. What do you think would be the third option?
SGC and then the comic book company 4.
That's what I would probably say as well. But, I mean, you
I don't
want to
know,
get them
man.
BGS and PSA.
This first Bowman looks like they broke into Upper Deck and stole their dot matrix printer.
Oh, the first graded.
Yeah, the first graded.
Yeah.
First graded. First graded Bowman. First
And,
graded.
and honestly, I don't like a lot of you guys out there like HGA, and I feel like they've had way too many mess ups. I'm not saying their company's not legit and they're not legit trying to grade cards well, but I just the mess ups of getting counterfeits that they've done and the mistakes that they've had or the vanity slabs that they've done where they've taken a fake card and actually slabbed it for people.
Come on, guys.
It just I don't like that. I just feel like if you have a big card and you want to get it graded, you can't touch BGS and PSA, and I know their prices are high, and I know their wait sometimes is long. But if you have a serious card, that's where you want to go. And maybe I guess if you have an under $100 card, you consider SGC and CSG. But I would maybe do some research on eBay on your particular card before you send it into those companies. Maybe hope that BGS and PSA's line gets down a little longer.
I mean, they're working on it. We've already seen an improvement with both companies. So
anything to add with the grading?
No, I think from what I can tell, the general hobby is, and like you said, there are people that still like the HGA slab, but I think the general consensus is that people ain't really messing with SGA.
Doug, where do you stand on the grading of a graded card?
Oh, like the diamond thing or whatever? No.
Just nope.
No, I mean, if it's a 10, why do I need it to be a top percent 10?
No, yeah, I agree with you.
Then you're going to grade the graded grade.
The graded card.
Yeah, it's it's been kind of a thing with PSA 10s for a long time where it's like people are like, is it as good as a BGS 10 pristine black label, right? There's that whole thing. So it's like grading a PSA 10 in that sense is like, not all cards are graded equally, right? So there has to be a PSA 10 that is better than another PSA 10.
Yeah, I mean, do you think at some point PSA has like a PSA 10 plus?
I don't know. I know they were doing something with Ben Baller that was supposed to roll out about some kind of additional kind of grading, maybe a gemmed out kind of grading case. I don't know, but there's something they're going to be releasing that hasn't been, at least I haven't heard yet.
Still curious about that. I'm waiting to see. I'd like a cool looking Ben Baller encased card.
Maybe if it's like a PSA 10 plus, you get a diamond encrusted. Maybe that's what they're doing. I don't know. Cody, what do you think in terms of grading? What do you think about these off-brand companies?
I don't use them, like you guys were saying, frankly.
Don't do it.
I think you guys said it. The top 4, if we're going to, we like doing Mount Rushmores here, so I think we've said it. That's the Mount Rushmore of grading.
That's who I would trust.
Yeah, and for sure, I think you got to lean towards PSA and BGS, but I think also people are, if you don't want to wait in line or you're on a budget, I think SGC is a perfectly fine replacement for all of those. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think it's really just that. Don't get suckered into a deal when just pay a little bit more to get it done right. And I think in the long run, especially if you're the type of person who's looking to flip that card or to looking to sell it down the line or have it also look better as well.
Yeah.
So there's just everything about it. There's really nothing good about going to stuff where you don't know who they are. They don't have a reputation. Yes, you got to start somewhere, but for now, let some of those guys establish themselves and go with the trusted brands.
Absolutely. And our last buyer beware is buybacks that are not numbered. I think for the transparency, what we're going through in this industry, Fanatics, we talked about it on the Josh Luber interview, so make sure you guys check that out here at Mojobreak Media. Make sure you hit subscribe. But buybacks in general, they need to be numbered. We need to know how many they're making. This company has been around for a long time, and I don't know how they've been around for a long time, but they still continue to make buyback products, and they can literally make them as they go. So because they don't number the boxes, so they could put out a fancy hit on a sell sheet. Do we know that's in a box? Well, we don't know because they're not numbered. They could be waiting for a certain amount to sell out and then put that card in the box. If everything is printed and numbered at the beginning, then we know that the whole entire print run was made, and we're not just making it up as we go in order to pull the wolves over the eyes of the customers. And you know what? I'll throw Break Kings in the mix. They've been terrible, and I don't know why we even did that. We're not doing it anymore. They don't number their boxes either, and you're getting 50% return on 99% of your boxes that you buy from these guys.
You're not getting 50%, man.
Well, I'm being generous.
Yeah, you are.
I'm being generous.
You are.
So, I mean, we got to hold these companies that call themselves buyback companies. We got to hold them accountable because we're trying to do, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of time. We're trying to do our own buybacks where we do number them. We film everything. We let everybody know where they're coming from so that it's transparent. Everybody has a fair shot. But these guys could literally be like making this up as they go and buying cards as they've got more money from breakers.
Yeah, I mean, and you got some time, check out, go to YouTube, check out some Super Break videos.
Yeah, because they also make original cards too, and you can look at those things.
Go check out some Break Kings, and you'll know right out of the gate that the value just isn't there. You know what I'm saying, C-Red?
It's hideous cards.
The Super Break
they're
stuff,
original
yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
Hideous stuff.
They at one point they had a good idea. The original bar cards with the original art.
Yeah, those are cool.
Those were
the
cool.
original ones
With the cut autos, like
with the
Beatles
cut autos, and
stuff,
they were kind of like the oversized transcendent cards. And they were cool.
Mm-hmm.
But the quality of the product has gone downhill tremendously.
And I'll note that seems to be the case with a lot of buyback companies. Like the product will start off nice, but as time goes on, they're like, we can keep making the same product without giving giving less value.
And let's face it. I mean,
and people are gonna buy
buying for a buyback product is time consuming, and to get good deals, it is very difficult.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of these guys have chosen the route to sell to distributors.
Yep.
In the case of Break Kings, Leaf is putting it out there for them and soliciting it to us. Do you think Leaf's doing it for nothing? No, they're getting a cut too. So they had to buy the cards on eBay or at a card show, and then they had to pay for packaging, and then they had to pay Leaf, and then Leaf had to make then we have to get it.
No,
and then
it goes to a distributor.
Right.
The distributor has to make their mark, and then it goes to us, and then we have to make our mark. The end consumer loses most of the time with buybacks, and the end collector, it's not real beneficial unless it is being done by one person. When we make our buyback product, we don't have anybody else that needs to get a cut of the profit. And a lot of times we are buying cards 3, 4, 5 years ago when the market was completely different and those cards have appreciated. So it gives us a little bit more flexibility when we.
But I will give credit to Hit Parade because they, from day one, and maybe some of their quality has gone down as far as their hits, but they have always been numbered.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their cases are numbered, and each individual box is numbered.
I think in their case, they do so much quantity, it is hard to put big cards in every single case.
Yep.
And you've seen a lot of buybacks where it will be a graded base card.
Yep.
And when they probably bought that graded base card in the peak of the market, that was probably a $200, $300, $400 card.
Right.
Yeah.
But now, when it goes into the product, it's worth $50.
Right. Or you'll see like in Super Break, they had that big. A lot of you guys might not have been in the hobby, but they bought the Yasiel Puig Superfractor, which at the time was a huge card. It was like a $30,000 card. It was right when Puig was on the Dodgers. He was doing well. Everybody wanted him. The owner of Super Break was on ESPN promoting the product, and then the Yasiel Puig came out in the last box, right? So it was like the whole product sold through. No transparency there. Obviously, you have the big card that you didn't want to hit early, and you just can't do buybacks that way. So that was one of the reasons why right out the gate it was like, this is this is shady. Things aren't numbered. We don't know who has the boxes. And then you saw them progressively starting to do the cheapest version of the biggest name guys. So you'd have like a Kevin Durant, like in-person authenticated auto, right? So which is like the cheapest possible Kevin Durant hit you can get, right? So you're not thinking with the hobbyist in mind. That's one of the things that I've done from day one is when I'm packing the product that we make, and granted we don't make that many, is to keep in mind that you guys want certain types of cards. So, but for more of this stuff, and if you guys have any questions about scams or you got scammed and you want to let the community know, comment below here on the video, Mojobreak Media. Hit that subscribe, comment below, tell us how you got scammed because we're interested in knowing so that we can relay that to the people and do another one of these episodes and keep people informed.